Talent is not a gift, it is a debt. Most men die owing it. Carl Jung spent his career watching brilliant minds rot from the inside out, and he found the exact mechanism. This is that mechanism. You know a man like this. Maybe you are one. He learns faster than anyone in the room. He sees angles other people miss. Teachers loved him. Coaches loved him. Everyone said he was going somewhere. 10 years later, he is still almost ready. Still one semester from finishing. Still building the deck before he calls the investor. Still saying next year. Meanwhile, a slower man, a duller man, a man with half his gifts, has already built the thing. Already shipped it, already cashed the check. Everyone around that man has a theory. He's lazy, he's scared, he never had the discipline to match the gift. Those theories are comforting because they are fixable with a habit tracker. Buy the planner, wake up at 5, cut the sugar. None of it touches the actual mechanism, and that is exactly why it never works for men like this. You cannot discipline your way out of a problem that isn't about effort in the first place. Jung had an answer for this, and it is uglier than laziness. He called it identification with potential. A man falls in love with what he could be, because what he could be can never fail. The business that never launches is still the business that changes everything. The book that never gets written is still the best book he was ever going to write. The moment he actually starts, the fantasy dies and something measurable takes its place, something that can be judged, something that can lose. So the mind protects the fantasy the same way it protects a wound. It keeps it covered, it keeps it untouched, and it calls that protection discipline. Here is the part that should scare you. Jung said a real gift throws its shadow before it even arrives, not after, before. The same intensity that makes a man dangerous in one direction leaves him exposed in every other. The sharper the blade, the thinner the steel behind the edge. So the more capable you are, the more that specific capability terrifies you, because it is the one place you have no excuse left. Average men fail quietly and nobody notices. Gifted men fail loudly in front of everyone who was told to expect greatness from them. This is why losing on purpose feels better than winning honestly. A man who never enters the fight keeps every version of himself that could have won. A man who enters and loses only keeps one, the loser. The brain does the math without asking you. It weighs an infinite number of imagined victories against one confirmed defeat, and it chooses the infinite every time. That is not cowardice in the way people mean the word. It is a rigged bet the mind makes to protect its own net worth, and the currency is self-image, not money. Let me tell you about a man named Nolan. Nolan could draw before he could write his own name. By 17, his sketches looked like they belonged in a gallery, not a locker. His father, a mechanic, kept one taped inside his toolbox for 9 years. Nolan talked about art school every day for a decade and applied to none of them. He told himself the portfolio wasn't ready yet. It was always almost ready. He is 43 now, still sketching in the margins of invoices at a job he hates, and the drawing his father kept has gone yellow at the edges. Still not ready, still almost. I used to keep a folder on my desktop called Ideas, real ones, scripts, businesses, a book outline I was proud of. 200 files deep before I admitted the folder wasn't a workspace. It was a graveyard I kept adding bodies to, because burying an idea felt safer than watching it get rejected in daylight. This is not a rare disease. It is a documented pattern. Harper Lee wrote one of the most celebrated novels in American literature, then published nothing new for the next 55 years, despite constant public expectation and a publishing world that would have handed her anything she asked for. Orson Welles made Citizen Kane at 25, was called the greatest director alive before he was 30, and then watched project after project collapse under his own perfectionism for the rest of his life. Entire films left unfinished, the reels scattered in vaults for decades. Two different artists, 2 different centuries, the same shadow. The gift arrives. The artist builds a wall around it instead of a stage. Jung wrote it plainly. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. You do not get the branches without the digging. You do not get the output without going through the ugly, private, unglamorous confrontation with the parts of yourself you would rather not look at. Most men want the canopy without the roots. They want to be seen as the tree and never touched as the dirt. Think about Gladiator for a second. Maximus spends the entire first act as a man with everything he needs already inside him. Purpose, skill, conviction, and none of it moves until the life he was protecting himself from finally gets ripped away. He doesn't become dangerous the day he learns to fight. He becomes dangerous the day he stops waiting for permission to use what he already knew. Or think about Demon Slayer. Tanjiro is not the most naturally gifted swordsman in his own generation. He is simply the one who stops treating his training as a thing to perfect in private and starts using it while he's still terrified, still grieving, still unfinished. Every gifted man on screen who finally moves does it the same way. He stops rehearsing the announcement and gives the performance. If you are still with me, drop a comment right now with one thing you have been almost ready to start for over a year. Just one. Type it and keep watching, because the next part is the one that actually changes something. Before Jung put this into medical terms, Musashi already had it down. Don't spend energy on useless activities. Read that the way it was meant, not as minimalism, but as an accusation. All that research you call preparation. All that planning you call diligence. Half of it exists only to delay the one action that would actually cost you something. Musashi was not writing about efficiency, he was writing about honesty, because a swordsman who wastes motion is a swordsman who is either untrained or hiding from the moment that matters, and most men who are still almost ready have trained plenty. They are just still hiding. Here is where most men flinch, because the fix sounds too small to matter. Jung wrote something else that cuts harder than any productivity hack ever will. There's no coming to consciousness without pain. Not comfort, not clarity delivered gently over a weekend retreat. Pain, because becoming conscious of the thing you have been avoiding means admitting you built an entire identity, an entire persona, around being about to do something great instead of having done it. That admission costs something. It should. If it didn't cost anything, everyone would have already paid it. The persona is the trap, and it is a comfortable one. You get treated like the gifted one at every family dinner. You get the raised eyebrows, the he's going to do big things someday, the quiet respect reserved for potential. None of that requires output. It only requires the performance of being close to output. And the longer you wear that mask, the more expensive it becomes to take it off, because taking it off means the world finds out exactly how much of the gift got spent talking about the gift instead of using it. Notice the two versions of yourself that already exist, side by side. One shows up at dinner and describes the plan with total conviction, timelines, numbers, a whole future laid out like it already happened. The other one sits alone at the desk 2 hours later, staring at the same blank document, finding reasons to check one more source, format one more paragraph, anything but write the sentence that could be wrong in public. Those are not two moods. They are two different men sharing one body, and only one of them is ever asked to actually perform. So here is the only exercise that matters tonight. Not a vision board, not a 5-year plan. Make a list of everything you are currently almost ready to start. Everything you think about weekly but haven't touched. Do not judge the list, just count it. That number is not a list of future projects. It is an exact measurement of how much of your life you have already handed over to staying safe inside your own potential. Some of those things you will kill. Good, a dead idea stops draining you, but at least one of them, pick the one that scares you the most, gets a deadline this week. Not a plan, a deadline. Something with a date attached that a real person other than you knows about, because privacy is exactly what has been protecting the fantasy this whole time. Nolan is still sketching in the margins of invoices. He is not out of talent. He never was. He ran out of time to keep pretending the portfolio wasn't ready, and he spent it anyway, one almost at a time, for 26 years. That is not a tragedy that happened to him. Jung would say he built it, one reasonable delay at a time, with the same intelligence that made the drawings good in the first place. The gift does not disappear when you refuse it. It just turns inward and starts collecting, and it does collect. Every year the debt sits unpaid. The interest is not financial, it is psychological. Restlessness with no clear cause. A low-grade resentment toward men who are objectively less capable but somehow further ahead. A body that stays tense even on vacation, because some part of it knows the real work has not started. None of that goes away with a better schedule. It goes away one way, by finally spending the gift on something the world can see, judge, and possibly reject. You do not need more discipline. You do not need a better morning routine. You need to stop rehearsing the announcement of who you're about to become and start giving the performance, unfinished, imperfect, and real, while every part of you is still afraid. That is the only version of this that has ever actually worked for anyone in any century. Understand what is actually being asked of you here, not confidence, not the absence of fear. Jung never once described a man who stopped being afraid before he acted. He described men who acted with the fear, still fully seated in the room, uninvited, refusing to leave, outvoted anyway. That is the entire skill, not becoming fearless. Becoming someone the fear can no longer drive. The gift was never the hard part. Every man watching this already has enough of it. The hard part was always deciding that being seen, judged, and possibly wrong in public is a smaller price than spending another year almost ready. Thank you for watching. If this hit something in you, you already know where to find more raw content. My Patreon exists for this. The part's too raw and too direct for this platform to leave standing. No algorithm deciding what you're allowed to hear, just the work. Go find it before you talk yourself out of that too. Also, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. I'll see you soon.